Looks like I'll be right on time. Welcome to Programming 101, everybody. This is MS Paint, and there's a very good reason I have an 8 by... Good. There's a good reason I have an 8 by 8 board on here. It's because we're going to be writing like a chess engine kind of thing. There's a reason I'm doing this, and I don't need these files for it. That was from Tuesday. So what we're going to do is, before I actually code anything, I'm going to do a little bit of design. I was actually doing this at work when I had some free time, but I didn't actually save the code because it was pretty bad. And so here's what I want to do. Okay, that's big enough. I want to make a chess engine. I want to program a chess engine where I can change things. Very simple. So I might say something like, well, what if I want the pawns to be able to capture moving forward instead of moving corner or diagonal? Or what if I want knights to not walk through units? Or something like that. So we're going to program an engine where we can change that kind of stuff. And before we do any of the actual coding, I'm going to do some little design. I'm going to go ahead and make some of the pieces. So the way I'm going to have this is the program's going to read this file. I could do different files for different pieces, but I'm only going to do one file because I don't think it'll be that long. And we're going to have some variables on these objects. So this would be a rook. This is going to look like an initialization file. Down here we're going to have a bishop, and it's going to have its own thing. So maybe movement rules singular. And I have decided, I was actually designing this at work, like I said, I have decided that the movement rule is going to be some math. It's going to be some mathematical equation. And when the game reads this file, it's going to replace some stuff. Okay? So x, in this little scripting thing, x is going to be how many spaces is it moving sideways. If it's right, it's positive, and left is negative, although I don't think it'll matter. And y is going to be how many spaces it moved towards or away from the other person, forward and backward. So this looks pretty correct. Don't worry about this first equals. This is the initialization file thing. So this is the name of the variable on the left. We only care about the first equals when we're going to read this thing. And this is the expression. So a rook's movement is legal if it's either not moving sideways or it's not moving front and back. Right? Pretty simple. I'm just going to get rid of these spaces. We're going to write the code to read this stuff later. And how does the bishop move? It moves diagonal. Well, every time it moves, the x and the y have to change by the same amount. So that's our movement rule for bishop. Pretty simple. Knight is a little more complicated, so I'm going to skip to queen first. And we're going to add other variables here later. So the queen is just a bishop and a rook combined, so we're going to combine those. It's x equal y, or x equals 0, or y equals 0. Very good. King, movement rule, x plus y equals 1. King can only move one space, but any direction. And pawn, I actually figured out, is the hardest piece to define. We'll go ahead and do knight. It's slightly more complicated than the others. So it's going to be x equals 2 or y equals 2. This is going to be in parentheses because one of those has to be true, and x plus y equals 3. So the knight always moves 3 spaces, and of those 3 spaces it either has to go sideways twice or forward twice. So it can't go just 3 straight, right? So this is the knight's movement rule. And then the pawn, maybe I shouldn't do because it's going to take way too long. So I'm going to save this file to somewhere, JMonkey projects. I haven't made the project yet. I'm not going to save this file. I'm going to create my project. And this is going to be a JMonkeyEngine project, but we're not going to do any 3D programming yet. I'm going to do it later. But if you want to make a little chess game where you can play around with things, this would be pretty cool. Chess. I'll just call it chess because I'm boring. Okay, there it is. Source packages. I'm going to close this other one. Actually, I'm just going to close that and that. Where's the close? How to close projects. Close two projects. Okay, so we're not going to open the main method because we don't care about that. So we're going to load our... We're going to make a class representing each piece. Chess piece. And I'm just going to go do a tiny bit of coding. Chess Simulator 2017. You mean 2016. This will be out by the end of the year. Probably by the end of... I don't know how long it'll take me. But anyway. The piece is on an X and a Y position. I may end up... What does it want? Identifier expected. Oh. So I can either have the chess pieces have a position, or I can just put them on a grid, and the grid can figure out where they are, because the grid is going to contain them all. Or maybe I can do both and make it easy on myself. But anyway, let's go back to this file and save it into our new project, chess. Just the root folder is fine. Piece definitions text file is fine. Save it like that. And we're going to fill this in a little bit. Oh, knight jump equals true. This means it can go through units on its path. Nothing else that I really need yet. King, let's give him something called important, because you lose when he's dead. So we'll just make up this variable, and in our code we'll say, if you don't have any important units, you lose. So that's how I'm going to handle the king dying. And so one thing that I could do if I wanted to really mess around is maybe you just start with like 6 kings and you have to lose them all or something like that. So you can start to see what kind of crazy things we can do. What if we do knights that are important or something like that? Oh yeah, I can close this now. And yeah, we'll do the pawn later, because pawn's a nightmare. So anyway, we're going to start coding. We're going to code our chess board. Very, very good. Now there are many ways... Oh, there's a bug on my wall. Let's see if I can... I don't need this. I was trying to find this... Aha! I got him. I have a black spot on my wall now. Alright. I saw him earlier and he got away. Chessboard, right. So there are 2 ways I could do a chessboard. There's probably more than 2, but there are 2 ways that come to my mind. One is I could do just an array, 8 by 8, and each compartment in the array would be a space. So a space could either have nothing in it, or it can have a piece in it, right? The other thing I can do is the chessboard can just contain a list of all the pieces that are on the board. I think it might be easier if we use an array, because figuring out where a unit can move is going to be really easy if we have an array, right? We can just do some really simple math to do that. Jesus Zor said he had to do a chessboard for a class about 5 years ago and he couldn't. Well, the chessboard itself is going to be pretty easy, but actually making the rules is going to be a little tough. We probably won't get through it tonight, but we'll try. So we are going to have an array of chess spaces, space, 2-dimensional array. It's going to be 8 by 8. I have to name it. Board equals new chess space. Or one thing I can do is, instead of using chess space with an E, not a W, instead of using chess space, I could do just a 2-dimensional array of chess pieces and have some of them be null. In fact, I think I will do that. Although if I use chess spaces, then we might be able to put like booby traps on the ground or something like that if we wanted to. You had to do a chessboard with pawns and they had to move. Did they have to be able to capture? Because actually the pawn movement is easy, but the pawn capturing is more difficult. Because the pawn is the only unit that captures units strangely. It can't capture with its normal movement. It has a special move. Alright, board equals new chess piece. That's fine. So we're just going to have the chess pieces, and this array is going to be mostly nulls for units that aren't there. Alright, so public chessboard. Here's our constructor. We're going to create a chessboard, and if we wanted to, maybe we could change the size of the board with this, but I'm not going to do that. Every chessboard I make is going to be 8 by 8. So board equals new chess piece, and then we don't have to populate it. I think they're all going to be null anyway. I'll make them all null anyway. J. Actually, you know what? I'm really lazy. I'm just going to have one loop. Board, was it I? Let's see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 5 by 8, and I mod 8 equal null. So that's just going to populate all the board pieces. What does it want? New chess piece. I'm probably not allowed to actually create the array there. What? What did I do? Maybe I just need to save. No, it still doesn't like it. Array dimension missing. Oh, I thought I put it in. That'll fix our problem. Alright, so we've created our chessboard. What do we need next? We've got some chess pieces. They have an X and a Y. We're going to get rid of that because we're just going to store all of that on the board itself. Public chess piece. We're going to do a blank constructor for serialization purposes. And then the second one is going to load the file and set up all of its properties. So the name of the unit, it's going to go to the file that I just made. It's going to load the properties. So one thing we need is a bunch of properties. We're going to use a hash map. So a hash map is like a... I'm trying to think of what the word is. It's not coming to me. What does it want? Oh, it wants me to do that. Now what does it want? Why am I in source 1.5? We're doing Java 7, son. Get up there. And our program magically compiles. You used to have to put your arguments on the right side of the equation too in this diamond interface, but you don't have to do it in Java 6 and up, I believe. Okay, so a hash map is like, maybe I'll draw one out. So a list is just, here's a thing, here's a thing, here's a thing, here's a thing, right? But a hash map is like, here's an identifier, 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 and then your actual things that are in it are like this. So if you want, so this would be like a variable name, and this would be the value of it in your hash map. So if I wanted the variable named 2, I would call props.get2, and it would return the letter C in that case. That's what a map is. It's just a really convenient way to assign like names to a list. Is this right? Property is going to be a hash map. Yeah, that's fine. All right, let's load the file. What did I call it? Oh crap! Oh no! I resized it. Wait, I can get it right back to where it was. I did not mean to do that. That looks good. What I want to do is drag this guy in. Chess. Piece definitions.txt. Okay. New file. It's already going to go to the root, which is the root of the project, which is where I put the file in the root, above the source folder. If you're doing command line, your results may vary. And then we're going to get all kinds of I/O exceptions. I hope we're not going to, but we do need to catch it. Anytime you do like file reading or anything like that, you're always going to have to catch an I/O exception. And we're just going to print stack trace. Later on, we'll remove it because we won't need it. Import it. I actually have a better way of loading this stuff, but yeah, we'll go ahead and do it this way. So last time when we did the blackjack, we used a scanner object on the input stream of the console where you type stuff in, where you type your choices. This time, we're going to do a scanner on the file. It works exactly the same. While, actually I need a string line, while line equals scan dot, come on, dot, next line. Will this work? I know it works for primitives. Not equal to null. What does next line return if it's... Returns the line that was skipped, throws, no such element exception, illegal state. Okay, I can't do that. I think there's like a scanner has next or something like that. Has next. Has next line is what I want. Line equals scan dot next line. And then we want to store the entire file, or do we? Do we want the entire file, or do we want... let's just do a list of lines. So each individual line that we read is going to go into this list. Scanner equals new scan, string line equals blah blah blah. We don't actually need to do this because we're gonna put it inside here. Lines dot add scan next line. All right, so at this point, our lines linked list has every line of the file. And I don't think we... Yeah, let's do the rest of the code in here because I defined lines in the wrong place, but I'm going to keep it there anyway. It's fine. Alright. Loop through all the lines that we just read in. If line matches, I'm going to use some regex. A regex is a string that represents a pattern of characters. I believe escape that, and put crap in there. So this is going to match... Oh, crap, what did I do? I hit enter an extra time. Wait, what did I do? Hold on. I did something wrong. I got rid of a line somehow. Oh, there we go. So this is going to match some brackets with stuff in them. That's all that this means. Because each one of those is going to be the different piece. So the thing inside... Actually, let me just do starts with. I wonder if starts with will throw exception if it's blank. I don't think it does. If the line is empty, it's really the only thing I need to worry about. Nope. I can do that. That's fine. Alright, cool. String category. So this is going to be the text that's inside the bracket, so rook or bishop, and this is what we're going to match with our parameter. Equals line dot substring from 1 size or length? Length for strings. Minus 1. I believe that's correct. What happened? For string line and lines, what does it want? Something happened. Try without catch. No. Where's my catch at? Oh, there it is. This needs to move. There. That's better. Alright. If category equals name, then load the properties. So we're just going to go through the extra lines in this category, as they're called in initialization files. You've got a category and you've got a bunch of key value pairs. If we want to talk about hash maps, these are keys, and what's on the right of the equal is the value. So we're going to load the properties. When I call it props, I'm going to name it something else. We're going to name it vars. Load the vars. There's a better way to do this. So we're going to keep track of which category we're currently looking at. And as long as we're in that category, we're going to add variables. That's what we're going to do. So if line starts with that current category equals that thing, and then continue. I don't need the continue. I could put an else if I want. Yeah, let's just put an else. Else if line is empty, continue. Else if current category equals the name that we put in our parameter. If any of this is confusing, let me know, because I'll go slower. I'm kind of speeding through this because it's boring. If current category equals name, we're going to add something to vars. So string key. So here's our, I wish I could keep both up at the same time. Maybe I can. Nope, I deleted it. Wait, here's Notepad. Is that Notepad or Notepad++? 1 second. Yeah. Bloop. Bloop. Alright, let's see if I can have both of these on the screen at the same time. If I find a good place to put it. Hold on. Let's make this guy real small. And refocus that. Uh-oh, I got a little graphical error. Get out. Bam. Oh my. Alright, we're going to move that guy over there. And we're going to fill up the screen kind of. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm just going to move it real quick. That guy. Okay, that's good. So what we're doing is this thing on the left is going to be the key. Everything on the right of the first equal sign is going to be the value. Okay, so all we're going to do with this string manipulation is we're going to find the first equal, and then we're just going to split the string in half, basically. What is going on? Come on. Oh crap. Wrong button. I'm getting graphics artifacts. So first, int index of equal sign equals line dot index of equal sign. So that's going to be a number. In this case, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's going to be 12. This is in the 12th position. But on these other variables like jump or important, it's going to be in a different position. But on the movement rule, it'll always be 12. Equals line dot, come on, dot substring from 0 to index of equal. It includes the first number but not the last number, so it's 0 to 11 actually. String value equals line dot substring index of equal +1. And if you don't put a second thing, it just means to the end of the string. Sublist. Substring, lowercase s. Line dot substring. Okay. And then vars dot put key value. And we have finished loading our thing. Now I need to test it. I'm going to be lazy and put a public static void main in here. And we're just going to do chess piece temp equals new chess piece. Oops. And we're going to call it rook. Let's see if it, oh, it's not going to print out anything though. Let's put another method on this that just prints the variables. Alright, for string key in string, for string key in vars.keyset, system out, key plus tab plus value. Actually, I should put an equal. Yeah. Plus, what happened? Oh, vars.getKey. I don't have access to the value. I actually have to ask for it. Okay, and we're just going to print vars on this guy. So we should see movement rule equals x, equals x equals 0 or y equals 0. That's what we should see. Or we should get an IO exception. Okay, it looks like it worked. And just because, let's do king. Over here on the left, movement rule equals x plus y equals 1, important equals true. Alright, so we have finished our code that loads our piece. And all the pieces are going to have is some variables. And I should probably give them a name too. Okay. What's the next thing we want to do? We want to probably write the engine that interprets what this stuff means. What else could we do? We've already made our chessboard. It's going to store a bunch of chess pieces. I don't want to do any of the 3D stuff just yet. Let's do something where we can make our starting board. Alright, let's make another text file. And I'm just going to copy this one because I'm lazy. We're going to rename it board states, because we might want to set up multiple different types of board states. I'm going to move this over here a little bit. So standard chess. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Maybe I'll do it like pictures. Yeah. This might be terrible. I might want to do per file, or maybe comma separated. Let's do one board per file, or yeah, one board per file. So I'm just going to make a new, in assets, JMonkeyEngine comes with a folder called assets. We're going to call it board states. It has a capital T for no reason. This one's going to be called standard. And so all it's going to be is a bunch of comma separated values. So how am I going to determine which player has which units? I could put a number on the end of them, I guess. Or like a W or a B in front of them. Yeah, let's just do that. So if I'm white, from my perspective, is what this picture text file is going to look like. So black rook, comma, black knight, comma, black bishop, comma, black. If I'm white, my king's, so that's black king. Black queen. Wait a minute, I don't actually know about this. Hold on. Chessboard. I don't know if the king is on the right or the left on which side. This one, I'm just going to guess Wikipedia is correct. King is on the right on both? Huh. Let me see what it says. Because I thought it was symmetrical. Board representation, rules of chess, white and black in chess. Okay, initial setup. Chess is played on a chessboard. Okay, so king is on the right and the right. I thought the kings were always symmetrical. Interesting. Alright, so the queen is on this side. Black king, 1, 2, 3, 4, yep. Black bishop again. Black knight. Black rook. And that's row 1. And this is going to be the easy part. Haha, we finished the second row. These spaces are going to be empty. And so the last two are going to be white pawn, comma, and then, yeah, I'll just copy this line. Change all the B's to W's. So this is a very rough, lazy, easy way to represent the starting chessboard. All of these are saved onto the Twitch archive as a highlight, and someday I will put them all up on YouTube. The important thing is that they're a highlight because those never go away. So this is how we're going to represent our starting chessboard. We're going to read it in, and yeah, okay, cool. One thing I need to do though is I need to, this needs to be a lowercase t, but unfortunately Windows is bad, so I have to name it something else and then rename it board states. That's right. Okay. So we're going to do string file name. And we're going to do the same kind of thing. We're going to load from assets board states plus file name plus text. Import. We do need to initialize the board. We are not going to loop. Actually, yeah, we are. The thing I'm thinking about right now is if we have, where'd my notepad file go? If we're going to read through this, I should probably put a comma at the end of each line too. What I'm going to do is I'm going to load the entire file and just take out all of the new line characters and just loop through every single one. That's all I'm going to do. Alright, so we have our file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit because I've already done the code for this. Source packages, utils, TS utils. Is this what I want? God, there's a lot of these. There's one where I can load an entire file. Get web page as string, get file as string. This is what I want. So I'm going to create another class up here called utils. I will show you the code for this that I just ripped. Import everything. Alright, so I'm going to format it because, alright, there we go. So this get file as string, you give it a file, and what it's going to do is it's going to do all the error checking for you if the file doesn't exist, blah, blah, blah. Is this HTML? This is not HTML. This is Java. But this is just a text file. It's just a text file. No big deal. So this, what I call it, get file as string, is going to do our error checking for us. It's not going to use a scanner because scanners are slow and bad. What you actually want to do in production code is you want to use an input stream reader, like a file reader in this case, and we're just going to load the whole thing. That's all this code does. It just loads the whole file. I don't know why there's so many spaces and it looks ugly, but we're going to keep it like that. And then so string file contents equal utils dot that one. And I don't need to throw or catch any exceptions. So we have the entire contents of the file. Now what we want to do is we want to split it into 64 different things. Items, I guess we can call it anything, equals file contents dot what? Oh, style contents. That's not what we want. File contents dot split. C++ is better if you want more power, but it's not better for the new people, and that's mostly why I do these. Maybe I will do one or two shows on C++, not really C++ particularly, but on pointers, because pointers are tough. So we're going to split by a comma, and I don't think the comma is a special regex character, so this should work. So I'm going to debug it. Yeah, I'm going to cheat. I'm not going to write a unit test. I'm just going to do this. Chessboard board equals new chessboard, and the name of the file was standard. And I'm going to debug it. Okay, so at this point, items should have 61 things in it, and it does. Perfect. So as you can see, there's black rook, black knight, black bishop, blah, blah, blah. We have to rip out all these new line characters, though. That's going to be a mess. So before we split it up, is we're going to do file contents dot replace all. So replace all also uses regular expressions. The first parameter is a regular expression for what to look for. Jesus Zor, combo breaker on SpongeBob. I was hoping somebody would do that. I didn't want it to be me. File contents. I need to wait. Let me put this up here. This is what just happened right here. SpongeBob Derp Pants, excellent name. He was typing out his hello world in the Twitch chat, and then he got combo breakered right here. Anyways, so the replace all. The first thing is going to be a regex. I want to match either a return character or a new line character. This is how you do that in regex. The pipe is the or. Single /R is a return character. Single /N is the new line character. But because it's in a Java string, we have to put a double backslash in on both of them. And we're going to replace them with poof, nothing. Actually, in Killer Instinct, it was called... Wait. Oh no. It's been so long since I played the SNES Killer Instinct. What do they call it when you do a fatality? It's like a brutal victory or something like that. I don't even... Is it awesome victory? I know they have like awesome victory and some other kind of victory. I don't remember. Anyways, so we're going to clear out all the new line characters basically. And so I'm going to debug it again just to make sure I've done everything correctly. Items. So I've still got some new line characters because this needs to be a plus. The plus in regex means match the previous thing one or more times, which is what we actually want. So let's look at it again. I've still got return and new line characters. What's going on? Are those actual return new line? Yeah, they are. What is happening? I'm replacing any amount of those or those with nothing. Let me look at file contents. It still has the new lines in it. Oh, it's because when you do a replace all, it actually doesn't mutate the string, so you have to reassign it. Strings are weird like that. Alright, so items. Okay, we have no more new line characters. It's just the color and the name of each piece. So for int I equals 0, blah, 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 board I divided by 8, I mod 8 equals new, well actually what we want to do is if items, that's a one-dimensional, I is not empty, we'll put a negation in front of that. Actually, if it is empty, then we'll set that space to null. Otherwise, oops. I'm just going to copy this so I don't have to think about it. For those who are wondering, what this does is, I'm going to do a smaller array. Come on. So what this code does, this board I divided by 8, I mod 8, since we're going from 0 to 64, let's say we were going from 0 to 12 in this one. Okay, so I divided by 0 is 0, and and 0 modulus is division remainder. That's also going to be 0, so it's going to be this one. So it's going to be row 0, this first one is the row, and the second one is the column. So the first time it runs is going to be this one. The second time, 1 divided by 8 is still 0, because it's integer, it's rounding down. And then 1 divided by 8 is 1, because it's division and the remainder. It divides to 0, but you have 1 left over. So that's going to be this one. So whenever you have just one number controlling a two-dimensional array, this is how you would do the math for that. Processing.java. What is processing.java? There is no processing.java, unless it's an external library. New chess piece 8x8, we're going to go through them all. Equals new chess piece, and the chess piece that we're going to do is items I dot substring, because we don't want the first character. It's a library. Yeah, I figured as much. Did he link to it? No, it's just a, it thinks it's a website because there's a dot in it, I think. Let me see what happens. Yeah, it's just going to Google it. Anyway, and then what we want to do, same thing, I divided by 8, I mod 8, mod 8 equals, or no, not equals, dot set color. We'll do it like that. Oh, we don't want to actually tell it. We want items I char@ 0. The first character of our thing. So the first character of, where did that thing keep going? The first character is either going to be a B or a W. I can make Snake another 50 lines of code. Yes, but the extra lines of code are in the library. I know what you're saying. Libraries are usually useful, but the point of this exercise is not to use a lot of other code. It's for people to see how to do simple things. You should use libraries for complex things, but we're not doing anything complex yet. We need to give colors to our chess piece. Here. We're going to get rid of that. We don't need it anymore. Char color equal, doesn't matter. Let's make them all white by default. And then that's fine. So we need a set color and a get color. Pretty easy. And public char, sure. Get color, return color. We're going to do one more thing. Public boolean is white. Return color equal W. Because this is a character, not a string, we can use the double equal. When you want to compare strings, you always want to use the dot equals method. And we'll do the same thing for isBlack. These are just going to be some convenience methods. Okay. So we have loaded our chessboard, hopefully, and we have populated it with the pieces, and they should be the appropriate colors. So what I'm going to do is I still have my public static void main. We're going to load the whole thing, and I'm going to debug it here. I'm not going to put anything in there. I just want to debug to look at the contents of our chessboard. So here's our board. 8 rows. We're going to look at the last row, which should be the white. Actually, we're going to look at row 6, which should be all white pawns. It's not going to give me a 2-string. One variable, name equals pawn, and it's white. I shouldn't have to check the rest. I'll check the last one. Name equals pawn, and it's white. And then let's go to the first row. So this should be a black rook. So it's a black rook. Okay, so we've done everything correctly. I have not heard of the Cloud9 IDE. I have heard of the newest one that a lot of people seem to like is IntelliJ, but I couldn't get into it. I just didn't like it. I'm too used to NetBeans and Eclipse. That might be it. A lot of people like IntelliJ for some reason. Alright, so I'm going to keep this main method here. Okay, now comes the hard part. We're going to write some code that reads from the file you're seeing on the right of your screen. Rule interpreter. So why don't I do script interpreter? Or do I want to put these on the chessboard? Maybe we'll put them on the chessboard. Public Boolean can move. All right. So what I'm going to do with this method determines whether a piece at x, y can move onto the space A, B, I guess. Yeah. Those are also integers. I probably should rename these so they make more sense. Let's do that. Actually, I haven't named anything else them. So piece X, piece Y, space X, not like the company. I don't want that guy to sue me for $200 billion. And space Y. All right, so this is going to return true if the piece that's here on the grid can move to this place based on these movement rules that I've defined on the right. We're not going to worry about unit collisions right now. So every unit's going to be able to jump over every other unit. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. Chess piece. We're going to get the piece first. Chess piece piece equals, what I call it, board. Board at piece X, piece Y. If piece is null, return false. What happened? Oh. We're going to return true at the very end, I think. Or maybe return false at the end and just check the... we'll figure it out as we go. So we've got our chessboard in MS Paint. I'm running out of space on the stream. Let me kind of get rid of this guy here. There's not really a good place to put this. So let's say we have a... Making sure okay, yeah, that's fine. Let's say we have a rook here with my mouse drawing because I don't have a tablet. All the legal spaces are like this. Right? These are all the legal spaces for a rook. And that's how they're going to move too in an asymmetrical arc, either direction. That was really bad. Anyway, movement rule x equals 0 or y equals 0. How do we want to do this? We already have... Let's go ahead and get movement rule equal piece dot get. There's no way to get the variables out of them. Var movement rule. And we're going to go ahead and make this method. Okay, created it, but it didn't bring me to it. Return vars.get. Oops. This is going to be key, not movement rule. Okay, so that's done. I have done Python a little bit, mostly via the Elder Scrolls engine. They use Python for their scripting. But I haven't done that much of it. Pretty similar to Java and C, same kind of structure. Okay, so we've got our movement rule, hopefully. If movement rule is empty or null, return false. So we've done all our error checking to make sure our game won't explode. Figure it out! This is what we have to think about. Let's see. So now we need to write a method, because I don't want to do it in this code. We have to write a method. Maybe we can do it in this code. We're going to read this thing you can't see it. We're going to read this thing, and we're going to figure out what it means. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to... I have a scripting engine that already does this. You know what? I wrote it for a previous video, so maybe I'll just... I'll use my other scripting engine. I'm going to have to change these. That's fine. I'll use my other scripting engine. Oops. Equal. So this is actually what it's going to look like. It's going to look more functional instead of mathematical. So the OR is a function, equal is a function, etc. That's what we're going to make it look like. And to do that, I've already done this in a previous video, so again, I'm going to go into my this thing, script parser interpreter. Oh, this might be really long. I'll just copy this whole thing. I'm going to need that, I'm going to need that, but I'm going to wipe all of that out. Is that all I need? That's all I need. Maybe I'll just copy the whole thing. Let's just copy the whole thing. Paste it up here. This is usually a bad idea to copy an entire class, but hopefully it'll work. Yeah, refactor copy. Bam. What? No, it doesn't. Oh, it totally does. Delete it. We'll do the refactor copy. Oops. Paste. Okay, there we go. So it should put the right package name on it and everything. We're going to get rid of all this other stuff that's unique to the other game that I made. This is where the magic happens, blah, blah, blah. We only need, we don't actually need the evaluate. We're going to name that. Oh, yeah, we do. We don't need all this other crap, though. We don't need all this crap. And evaluate wrapped is just going to take an action. Action is just some random string. If it's not a function, return true if it's true, return false if it's false. If it equals, we do need one thing. We need to pass in, wait. How do we want to do this? We have to tell it where it's trying to go from and where it's trying to go to, so it knows what to do with the x and the y on this thing. We need to tell it where it's from and to. So do we want to put the piece in there, or do we just, I think we just want to go int. We're going to have to send it the whole board. This is going to be a lot more complicated than I thought. Maybe I will do the 3D stuff for tonight. It's been an hour. Alright, I'm going to let this have compile errors. That's fine, because it's not going to, nothing's linking to it. Let's actually make, what is this? Oh, this is the default, whatever. Okay, let's get rid of that. So we are actually just going to do the 3D stuff now. I didn't realize actually doing the rules engine is going to take a long time. I don't want to stay here for another like 2 or 3 hours. So we're just going to do the, we're going to make the chessboard, and I guess we're going to put some letters on them to represent the pieces since we don't have models. And then we'll stop. But it's not going to be for a while. So chess board equals new chess board standard. We've created our board, and then for int yeah, that's right, int I equals 0, I less than 64, I plus plus. This is not related to the board itself. This is just going to make the tiles. This for loop right here is just going to make the tiles. Maybe I'll put that here. 64 tiles, and they're going to be quads. And they're going to have size 1 and 1. A quad is a flattened square in JMonkeyEngine. Everything that has a shape needs to be a geometry object, so geometry G equals new geometry. And we're going to name this geometry. We're going to give it the name we're actually going to split it up. So we're going to give it the actual coordinates. And I want the coordinates to start in the bottom left. So the bottom left is going to be 0, 0. The top right is going to be 8, 8. And it's going to be x first. So the bottom right of the grid, actually I brought up paint for a reason. So this is going to be 0, 0. This is going to be 8, 8. Don't make fun of my drawing. This is going to be 8, 0. And this is going to be 0, 8. It all looks the same to you, I know. This guy kind of looks like a Pop-Tart. Put some dots in there. So that's how the coordinate system is going to work. So the I divided by 8, ooh, this has to be 8 minus, oh, that's not 8, it's going to be 7. Because, yeah, it's going to be a 7, not an 8 on all of these. So this is 7, 7. 7, 7, 0, 7, 7, 0. Very good. So it's actually going to be 7 minus I divided by 8. Yeah, that looks right. And then the second one is going to be just I mod 8. Yep. So the name of each tile, it doesn't like it. Oh, because I need to put the I need to put this in it. You need to actually give the geometry the object that's gonna what happened. Oh, wait, which one is this closing? There we go. Import. Too many parentheses. And then we have to give it a color. So material, mat equals new material. If I had a texture, I'd just use a texture. So this is going to be common mat defs. I need to put the asset manager in it, I think. Common mat defs, import it. Common mat defs, what is it? MISC? Simple shaded. Actually, I'm going to have to look it up because I don't remember. JMonkeyEngine. I have a bookmark to it, actually. JME, material definition properties, the most important one because I use it so much. So the material definitions are how you put textures and colors on things. So this is what we're going to load. And then mat.setColor, I believe it's just called color. And the color is going to be based on, yeah, new color RGBA. Can I have one parameter on this? I wonder. No. So I mod 2, I'm just going to copy it. And then the alpha is going to be 0. No transparency. I don't think the transparency would matter because we're not giving it a shader that can handle transparency. Oh wait, yeah we are. I think 0 means no transparency. Actually, let me look it up. The alpha component does not tell me. I'm pretty sure if it's 0, then it's opaque. I don't quite remember, but we'll find out when I can't see it as soon as I start the game. So g.setMaterial, we're going to give it the material we just made. And we also have to set where it's going to be located. Set local translation. It's going to be these coordinates up here. Yes, these coordinates up here. I don't know why speed is there. And 0 for the z. Root node dot attach child g. Okay, so now we should have 64 little things that we should be able to see. The other thing I'm going to do is speed up the camera because otherwise it's just really slow. I'm going to set it to 10. Alright, let's see if we have a chessboard. It should be black and white squares alternating. I think we might have done something wrong. Because we should, maybe I should make the black squares a different color so we can see them against the black background. Or actually, let's just make the background gray. I believe I can do that. Settings, it's not settings, it's a viewport. Dot set background color, new color RGBA. It's going to be 0.5F and 0. So now we should have a bunch of gray, a bunch of black, and a bunch of whatever else I said. Gray background. Gray background, we got a bunch of white squares, but no black ones, and the white ones are in the wrong place. Well, some of them are in the right place, but I'm guessing they're overlapping. So I0 to 64, we're going to make a new quad. They should have the correct names. I'm just going to assume that they do. We'll fix it if they don't. Material set color, that's fine. The translation is what's wrong. Oh, I copied the same thing and put it in there. So this should just be us. Oh, I got this very wrong. This one's going to be I modulus 8. I don't know how that got to be something else. Modulus. Override is used to tell people that you're... Might have to check my code. Override, the annotation, is used to tell people that you are overriding something. So in the parent class, simple application, this is something that comes from JMonkeyEngine. I didn't write it. We go in here, and it's got a bunch of crap. So it's got the one I'm looking for, not start, get all this other crap. So it's got init, update. There's the update. So even in here, update is still overriding something. Where's my simple init app? Here it is. So we're overriding this. It doesn't actually do anything as far as the computer is concerned. It's more like a comment, kind of. There are some annotations that are like that. The deprecated. If you have code that is old and probably shouldn't be used anymore, you can give it the deprecated annotation. It doesn't actually do anything to your program, but people using an integrated development environment, they'll see it crossed out. If you generate JavaDoc, the JavaDoc will have big letters saying don't use this method. So some annotations are like comments, and override is one of them. But some annotations can do things. I'm not going to use any of those, I don't think. Alright, so our code is bad. We've... Okay, so let's see. Set local translation. We're going 064. I want the 0 to be in the bottom. You know what? It actually doesn't really matter. Let me just do I divided by 8 in I mod 8. That's the x and the y. Actually, the x and the y are flipped. That's what's happening. So that should be there. That should be there. So this also should be flipped. I've got an extra parentheses. I don't actually need that anymore. Okay. Yeah, let's just do it like that. Something's still going on. Oh, because, duh, my code is actually working perfectly. But chessboards do not look like that. We have to actually shift it. So we want I mod... not I mod 2. We're just going to have to do this. If I divided by 8, so if we're on an even row, that's what this means. We're going to divide by 8. This gets us the row, and then the modulus 2 is telling every other row, which even row. Okay, so if I mod 2 equals 0, then we're going to do this. Else, and I could do this in less code, but I'm choosing not to. Else, we're going to copy this guy. Set color, I'd mod 2. It's going to be 0 or 1. We just want 1 minus. I'm pretty sure the modulus operator is a higher priority than addition, so that's all I had. That's all I did. I forgot to flip the rows. Okay, so now we have a chessboard. And now what do I want to do? I don't have models for chess. Maybe before I start next time on next Tuesday, maybe I'll download some chess models from TurboSquid. Oh, TurboSquid, by the way. TurboSquid is awesome. Let me bring it up. turbosquid.com. This is a website that has tons and tons of 3D models and I think like animations too. I don't want to log in. Do I have to log in? Oh, search. Chess. And a lot of these models are free. And you can sort by price, so I'm going to go, my minimum price is going to be 0 and my max is going to be 0. So we've got some free chess. I don't know if those are boards or pieces. What I want is this is what I would want. I would want something like this, a chess set. You can get these models for whatever price that you feel like paying. Obviously, the more expensive ones are usually better quality, but not always. And you can just put them in whatever project you want. A lot of these have really like use however you want licenses. So I'm probably just going to go here and download one of these later. So for next time, we'll actually be able to look at something. But for now, we're just going to draw, I guess, letters. Yeah. Actually, instead of white, I'm going to make the... I don't want to use white because then the white piece... You know what? I'm just going to get a texture for the tiles later. Because I don't want to put black and white pieces on a black and white board. Some of them will become invisible, right? They'll be camouflaged. And that will give you an unfair advantage in chess. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get textures that, like for wood or granite or marble or whatever. It's going to look real nice, but right now I don't really have the time to do that. So for now, we're going to actually just write letters on the board. We're not going to see half of them, but that's okay. Instead of the iMod 8 on the Y, let's make the board flat. Yeah, let's make the board flat. It affects how the camera will be able to move. So when I started the thing, the camera is facing north, if you think about it like that. East is to the right, west is to the left. So now our tiles are going to look weird. They're not rotated correctly because I'm going to spawn them so that... Oh, what did I do? X, Y... Oh, this has to be negative. Do I really want to do that? Oh, it's divided by, isn't it? They're going towards the camera. And I don't know... See, it's going to look like this, but it actually looks bad because I do this, and you can see what's happening. They're just, I've made them flat. They were just going where it used to look, I don't know if I can get a correct angle. It used to look something like this, but less bad. But that's when I was facing north. What's going to happen is the camera's going to be above the grid, and I'm going to be facing downward at kind of like an angle. So I just need to rotate these a little bit. Yeah, I know. G.set, actually I could just do rotate. I think, yeah. And we're going to rotate along the x-axis, and I believe that we need a negative rotation of half pi. It's either negative or positive, I can never remember. One of them is reversed. Rotations are supposed to... Oh, it didn't do anything. Why didn't it do anything? Oh, because we want on the x-axis. I rotated on the wrong axis. And actually we want quarter pi, not half pi. What the hell? What did I do? Oh, okay, yeah. Parenthesis went to the wrong place. We want negative fast math half pi on the x-axis. 0, 0. Wait, do we want... No, it's half pi, not quarter pi. So when I... Okay, good. So now our chessboard is flat, and I'm floating above it right now. That's what I wanted. And I don't actually know which space is supposed to be white. Do I still have that picture of the chessboard up? I got Turbo Squid. Bottom left corner is black. It's white on this one. Bottom right corner is black on this one. I don't want the board representation, I want the rules. Chess. There it is. Looks like it's black on the bottom left. I don't really want to switch the colors. I don't really care that much. Anyway, so we're rotated, so now we've got our thing. We're going to put some letters on the chessboard to represent the pieces. For, do I have a board? I do have a board. For, can I do, what do I have on board? I have can move. I can't, oh, I made this public? Ugh. I can access the actual pieces themselves. We'll do get. No, not get class. Yes, I can rotate the board. I could just rotate the whole thing, like instead of attaching it to the root node, I could attach it to something else and then rotate that something else, rotate the parent. But I don't really care at this point. It doesn't really matter which space is white and which space is black. As Michael Jackson would agree, I'm sure. He's dead. Don't worry about it. It's not too soon. Alright. Board.get. Yeah. So what I want to do is, maybe I do want to access the array. That's bad practice, so I won't do it. In my personal projects, sometimes I do. Alright, so, do I really want to do that? Now we'll just give it a get thing. Public chess piece get. So we're gonna, very simple, return board XY. I do have a YouTube channel. It's /ShardPhoenix. You can scroll down, there should be a link on the channel, on the Twitch channel. So for, we don't want board.get, we want for int I, actually let's just do x, because it's kind of more intuitive. We won't do that fancy math, because I've already done that. For int y equals 0, y less than 8, y plus plus. Chess piece equals board.get. X, y are already there, because my IDE is smart. If piece is null, meaning there's nothing on the spot, continue. There's nothing on the space. Otherwise, we have the piece at our disposal. So the name is not going to include the color. Actually, let's do boolean is white equals piece. I knew I put that there for a reason, is white. So this is, we're going to change the color of the text that's going onto each space. Piece.getVarName. We're going to assign that to something. Alright, so here is where we have to use bitmap text. Bitmap text and bitmap font are how you put text in a scene in JMonkeyEngine. Bitmap text equals new bitmap text. And all applications come with this variable called GUI font, which is just the generic font that the engine uses. Text.set text, haha, name, text.set color. We want to put this inside an if. If piece is white, I'm going to get rid of that variable. Text set color, color RGBA dot white. Else, make it black. So we've set the color of the text and we've set the text of the text. Now let's set the location of the text. text.set local translation. And it's going to be, why is there a 0 up here? So the x is going to be x, and the z is oddly enough going to be y. Maybe I should just rename this. Z. Alright. X, Z. So it's going to go, it's going to start and it's going to be behind the camera. That should be okay. This might be weird. First, I'm going to organize things on the root node way better, because we don't want to attach everything to the root node, right? We want to have some kind of hierarchy so some things can move around logically. And if we need to detach anything from the scene, if we need to remove anything, we can make it really easy for ourselves by not doing this. But for now, I just want to see if the code works. So we've attached the text to the scene. The text is facing the wrong direction, but that's okay, because we can just move the camera and look at it. All right, so I'm going to, okay. All right, so our text is real big, like a real big, but it looks like it kind of worked. We're going to make our text a lot smaller. Oh, my throat's starting to hurt. Set, what is it, size? Aha, set size. We're going to make it 0.02. I don't actually know how big it should be, but we're going to make it really small and see. We're just going to trial and error until it works. Okay, that might be too small. Also, we need to set the elevation of the text because it's below everything. So we don't want it that small. We want probably, let's do 0.15. And we do want to elevate the text a little bit. So let's elevate it by 1. Because otherwise it would be under the board. We want it on top of the board. Alright, so so the layout is kind of weird. The X, I should probably flip the X and the Y. So everything's in the right place, it just needs to be rotated. So what I'm going to do, and this code right here actually is going to be in its own little method, because anytime anything in the game changes, what we're going to do, like when you move a piece or when you take a piece, is we're going to wipe out all the text, or in for the case of next Tuesday, we're going to wipe out all the models, because we're going to have nice chess models. And we're going to rebuild it every single time anything moves. So that's going to be a new method. Build pieces. Or make pieces, I guess. Bam. And so in our initialization method, we just do this. And then anytime something changes in the game, we're going to call it again. Wait, what? Okay, board needs to be not there. It needs to be a class variable so that we can access it anywhere. Our update method is going to need it a lot. All right, so let me think. The X position is from there to there, and that's the negative Z actually. Where is it starting the camera at? Bottom left? Why is the camera in this random place? Where is the camera anyway? Camera was at 0, now it's at 3, and then oh, they put it at Z equals 10? Why do they do that? Why is the camera at Z equals 10? I guess it's so you can see things if you put it at 0, 0, 0. So the world 0, 0, 0 is actually this little corner on this white square. That's where 0, 0, 0 is. And then X goes that way, and the Z goes negative that way. Is that right? What position is this? I can't see the whole thing. I'm looking at the console on the left. -1. I'm trying to figure out where the origin of the world is. I'm pretty sure it's here. So we're at 0.08, 0.4, and 0.4. Oh, that's the direction. I needed to scroll down a little bit. Position 0, 1, and 7. Oh, this is 7. Okay, so 0, 0 is actually over here. So the x goes from that to that, and the z goes from that to that. But what I want is actually for the z to be not like that. Or I could just rotate the camera, I guess, around the board when the game starts. Because I want the math to be consistent everywhere. So I want z to either go up the board or down the board, but not both, depending on where you are. So I think what I will do... Where do we actually generate the things? Here's where we generate the tiles. So set local translate. We're going to do negative this. So we're going to make it go from the camera up from our perspective. We're going to make it go up. And then down here, same thing. Okay. And now it looks like all I need to do is I switched an X and a Z, it looks like, somewhere on the text. So for X equals... Yeah, we actually want to swap these. Is that right? Okay, so X is going to be the row, like everything in the row. Z is going to be the row. No, it's not. X is actually the row. Yeah, so what I should do is I should rename X to Z and Z to X. The outer loop is going to be each row, and the inner loop is going to be the pieces in the row. Cannot, oh, it's already named that. Yeah, alright, well. It's going to be X, and this still will be negative Z, because we want it to go up. So it's going to be Z, 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 X, X, X. Board get X position, Z position. Yeah, that's right. Again, okay. But we don't want negative Z because that'll always be out of bounds. Okay, it's doing the exact same thing. Z is the row. X is each thing in the row. So we're getting X and Z. That's right. The translation is going to be X, 1, and then negative Z. I don't see what's wrong with this. This should be correct. Let me think for a second. So let's see. We got Z is going to be the row. X is going to be the column. So where's my paint? So if I want like X equals 3 and Y equals 2, or Y equals 1. This should be a pawn. So this is 3 and 1. I wish I could move the... There's no good place to put this. That's good enough. So for Z equals 0, it's going to start down here. So X1 through 8. This doesn't make any sense. Unless the camera's being set in the wrong place, but I don't think so. Let's move the camera. We're going to set the camera at I need a vector. So we're going to make sure the camera always starts at the origin. Actually, there's a constant for this. We're almost done. I'm just trying to figure out why. Okay, so that's definitely the origin. So we're going X, and then we're going Z that way. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably the way that it like stores the way that it stores the pieces is probably reversed. So chessboard is what I want to look at. The geometry is actually fine, I think. I think what we're doing is we're switching this. So this is the row. That's correct. This is the column. We're starting top to bottom. No, that makes sense to me. This looks correct also. Oh, our get method is backwards. X is the column and Y is the row, but so the first one's the row and the second one's the column. So now I think white is close to me. There, white's on the other side. Well, we got close enough. So it's because it's negative z, so it's actually loading them this way. Alright, that's fine. I will just let me see if there's an easy fix for that. So get, that's fine. So we're starting at the top of, where's my other file? We're starting at the top of this file when we read in our positions. So this should be, oh, it's because this array starts at the top and goes down. 7 minus I divided by 8. I just want to make everything consistent because then I won't have to think in the future, and that's what I want. You always want to make your life as easy as possible. That's why you are a programmer. So I have defined for myself that 0, 0 is the bottom left, and that's where I want the white pieces to be, on the bottom side. And the black pieces are on the other side. Alright, so we have created a very kind of... The text needs to be offset to the right and in the negative z a little bit. It's not centered on each square, but otherwise it's fine. They're in the right place. That's a pretty easy change to make. So this is a good stopping point because it's getting late and my voice actually is starting to hurt. I don't know what I did to it, but anyway. On Tuesday, like I wanted to do today, we're actually going to write the code to figure out whether the pieces are allowed to move to where the player clicks. That's what we're going to do on Tuesday. I don't know if we'll finish because it's actually a lot of work, but we'll get through it hopefully. And then we'll start messing around. We'll start making pawns that can jump over units and stuff. So I'll see you guys Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everybody. And have a good Monday if you have a Monday off. I don't have Monday off. They give me a lot of vacation time, so I can't really complain. But I hope you guys have Monday off, and